This is how beds were made in the 1970s. There was a bottom section here which was held off the floor with legs like this, screwed into wood. And the top was a mattress on this divan bottom. It was a totally wooden construction, held in with bracket corner pieces like this, which was screwed in with slot-headed nails. Slot-headed screws, I'm sorry. Not the fillets type or the crosshead that we have common in use today. And then the legs were just put into T-nuts like that. These screws were often hammered in, so when you take them out, a lot of them are bent because the people who put them together were working on piecework and had to make so many beds as quickly as possible, so they would often hammer them rather than using a screwdriver to put them in. The divan was supported by 5 sets of 5 coil springs and held in by this webbing type material here, with a very thin insulation on top, or packing on top, to stop you feeling the springs. That was the basic construction, all wood, not very much in the way of air nailers and things like that one would use today. But it's actually quite a complicated design really for what was required compared to what they do now. The spring was built as a sub-assembly. Like this was staple. It's one of the areas where they seem to be using probably a hand or a pneumatic stapler. The sides were then nailed in. These look like they're hand nailed rather than put in with a gun. So it's relatively crude by modern standards in terms of the fixing technology available. And that's a view of the bottom. This was actually screwed in here again with the standard slot head screws. So they must have gone through a lot of screws making this bed. No attempt being made at joinery on here. All they've done is put a square block in here and then screwed through from both sides and rounded over the edge. It's not any type of joinery at all, just as simple as possible to get the job done and get the thing out as quickly and as cheaply as can be done. Somebody must have got into the modern age on this bed. This is a crosshead screw, whereas all the other ones have been these, being a slot head type. So this is actually a crosshead and another one in here. So it's sort of a transition between the old, long-established slot head design, and then they started to think about using crossheads at that point. It begins to look like one part was made in one as a pre-assembly somewhere, because this is all put together with these slot head screws like that, but the other part here is using crossheads. So it looks like there was two assembly shops here, or maybe 2 people, one of them having crossheads and one having slot. I don't know, but it does look like this section here was made in one shop with the rest of it, and the other bit was then put on in a different assembly shop. The inside of the divan was just filled with this sort of collection of string type material, just all compressed together. I suppose it's probably waste from some part of the rag trade. But that's all there was, just those on top of the springs, and that provided the bottom. The base cover here just held on by a lot of staples, along with the webbing. So about 3 or 4 staples in each webbing thing, and that's all that was holding it, and one in the bottom every inch or every 2 inches. Quite a simple construction. The inside of the mattress is a series of springs, none of the memory foam type roll-up mattresses, the type Casper that have been promoting strongly. This is just a series of springs. Obviously very expensive to manufacture, but in terms of comfort and pleasure, it was a great mattress to lie on, much more comfortable than the one that's replaced it. So that's all the wood that was in it. A fair part of a small tree really. And these beds were quite expensive to manufacture at the time and expensive to buy, especially with all the springing in. So it's an open spring unit, 50% wool mixed felt and a core fibre pad, and it's made under British licence. 1684 I think it is, or 1584. Difficult to read that. So it's a British standard bed at its time, and it was at its time an expensive bed. This is another look inside the mattress. This stuff here I've researched, and it comes from coconuts, core, C-O-I-R, and this is a woolen felt. So actually there's quite a lot of sophistication goes into this, plus and then the open steel springs in here, which are presumably spring steel, so actually relatively expensive steel. Yeah, sort of a bed that's well beyond anything for previous 2,000 years of humanity. Quite amazing what was constructed in.